Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 143 of the Seller Club podcast. Let's go ahead and drop that beat.
Yeah, you got the game. I got the game. Put it together, we level the play. Share what you know. Everybody wins. Seller Club. That's where community begins.
Hey, Ken.
Yo, yo, yo.
What's going on, my man?
Sore. I'm sore.
Yeah? Been working out?
Been working out. This week has
I'm
been...
not.
I would say full week has been full speed. We took 2 weeks slow speed. Didn't
Probably
try...
wise. Probably wise. You don't want to get injured after being gone for weeks.
Because I'm getting old. I didn't realize that I'm older because in the Philippines I tried to play basketball and my knees aren't kneeing. Yeah. And I realized that after the adrenaline, after the excitement.
Right.
Yeah, so I really nursed it for 2 weeks. And I was like, whoa, you know, like that hinge sound of creaking. I never thought that was real. And then JC would just look at me and I was like, are you okay? I was like, I think I'm okay. And then it just starts like, popping and crunching. And I was like, I think I'm not okay.
You know how people say, like, you look like a snack? Maybe you sounded like a snack.
Sound like a snack. I sounded like a...
Snap,
like
crackle, pop.
Yeah, like a...
Rice Krispie.
Corn chips, like, got sat on. That's what my knee sounded. But yeah, it's I'm doing good now. So that's kind of like...
You've recovered.
I've recovered, and, I've been testing speed under running. And,
love it.
And, I think one more week, I'll be back to where I was, which is really humbling. Because, you think you just ride it like a bike.
Just get right back into it.
Nope. What I've noticed, though, I've been stretching a lot more, which is, I think, I'm learning to accept that my joints aren't as fluid as they were.
Well, so. Yeah, and I mean, to me that makes sense just from an impact standpoint because some of what you do is really high impact.
Yes.
So, of course, that affects your joints, but also high impact is really good for your bone strength.
Correct.
That the older you get. And I think people overlook that sometimes. They just think, high impact is bad, it's bad, but it's not all bad.
It's rhythm, right? It's rhythm. It's not balance, it's rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been way more research about impacts, how impact helps your joints and your bones to kind of like rejuvenate. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was an interesting study. I looked into it. That your kind of like your cartilage and some of those, I don't know what the technical term is, but what's in your joint, it needs to feel the force for it to kind of like strengthen certain, but.
So I had not a high impact situation, but a similar situation of like, oh yeah, this is totally fine. This is barely a workout. And then like afterwards being like, wow, I think I got hit by a truck, which was canoeing. I canoed like a 5 mile little river.
That's a lot of upper body movement, which it's basically rowing, right?
Yeah, kind of. It's like paddling two sides.
Paddling, right? Yeah. It's the most humbling exercise, even for me, even when rowing, because that is you're pulling, but you're pulling below your chest, right?
Yeah,
like you're not stacking it on your shoulder, right? Has a lot of back movement and stuff like that. So that is as a matter of fact, JC's back's really sore that she had to get a massage because she said it feels like a stiff neck in the back.
Yeah, that's a great idea, JC. Well done. I should probably do that.
So because we did a lot of low row lifting. And she thought she was up to speed, but apparently not.
She was like, ow. Well, that's how I felt. Like, not so much the day of, but like the next day, I was just like, oh, wow. I can feel all those little core muscles around my spine and like under my shoulder blades and stuff where I was like, wow, I haven't used these in a while. Yeah. But it was really great. Like, super relaxing and fun. And I like a good workout. Like, that feels good to me. I usually like it more after the fact.
That's movement, right? Like that's movement, and since this is a reselling podcast,
that's right. It is.
This is how we connected with nothing, a whole lot of nothing. There's no connection. There's no segue. My brain didn't come up with something different. See, guys, it's not always smooth. No, I didn't even try. I was like,
you're like, let me just swan dive into this topic from another topic.
No, none. You know, so is reselling. You know, like when you feel like you got it, and then it's like, let me apply it in this category in this marketplace. No, it don't work.
Yeah, Actually, you're getting older. Yikes.
You just forgot where you put it. Come on, stop blaming your SKU system.
Talk about humbling. No, but seriously, I am going to segue into reselling because it's always fun to talk about our lives, right? Stuff going on. But like, since you've been back from the Philippines now for a few weeks,
right?
Have you run into any weird things like, oh, that went totally bonkers while we were gone, or like we lost touch with something, or had any weird occurrences, like getting back into the groove of that?
Sourcing, definitely no. I've gotten more excited about that process. I think we're having trouble kind of like a longer block of work, which is, we're not really, trying to do that, but I feel like the 3-hour sprint that we used to do, it's kind of hard to do. Like, I've literally, like, I could do photos for 3 hours, like, nonstop.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I only did an hour and a half, and it felt like 3 hours, right? So,
I honestly feel like that kind of thing for me varies day to day, though. Like, if I just like lock in, right. I could go for 3 hours and it feels like 1 hour, or vice versa on any given day. Like, so it just depends how, I think that's how motivated I am, or whatever
are feeling. But also, like, we're trying to cross list, right? We have a lot of off air discussion about, you helping me how to figure out Vendu as the cross-listing tool that we're using, which is really, I guess it's challenging because there's a lot of, things that you have to watch out for.
Yeah, like it's pretty robust, but it's complex.
There's no simple
nuances,
right? Like, there's nothing simple about cross-listing, because it's importing from one platform to another platform that are not friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
they don't have all the same fields or the same mechanisms,
not even shipping.
Yeah.
Even title length, a number of photos are different.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So,
sorry, I just hit my fingers on my desk really hard because my hand was flying up because I was like, oh my gosh. Speaking of titles, I was cracking up today because, Depop, like, doesn't, like, you can't enter a title. It, like, makes up its own title based on your...
Shoot.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
So, you know how I had listed, like, almost 500 dance costumes?
Okay.
I was, which this actually ties into our topic that we're actually talking about today that we're getting around to. But I was following some great advice from a friend of mine about how to improve those listings a little bit. And it had to do with the titles. So I was doing some changes to the titles across all the platforms.
Okay.
And Depop, of course, like, there isn't a title field to, like, type in a title. But you see a title on the listings when you go and look at listings. It's just, like, a really generic, like, auto-generated title that Depop makes on its own. You don't have any control over what it says as far as I know.
Right.
So anyway, all of these, like, they're, like, leotards with tutus and, like, dance dress recital costumes. Like, that's what I was working on, and every single one of them, the title was just fancy dress for on Depop. And I was like, what the heck, these are even in, like, the costume category on Depop, and somehow every one of them just is called fancy dress. So good luck to me selling this on Depop. But I thought that was funny. Like, really, that's what you got. Love it.
That's true.
Have you ever looked at what your listings are titled?
I didn't even realize. No, here's the thing. When I'm looking at it, I don't see a title. I just see photos.
Well, you don't see it on Vendu, but if you go and, like, look in the Depop app, for example, Or maybe it's not an app. Maybe it's just online. I don't know. On like browser, go one of those two places.
Right, I just
you'll
see
titles.
size and price.
Yeah. Well, have you looked on your browser?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
mine's just all photos. If I go and look on the app.
Okay, you have to click on it. And then once you click on it, and on the right side, it says it. Like Nike men's green shorts. That's it.
Right. Fancy dress. That's all I got. Anyway, I just thought that was funny.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, I guess if you're...
It sure makes a case for keywords, right?
Yeah, but it's so... I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of impressed because Free People Pink Skirt, but the title is... Well, it's on my title on eBay, but they came up with it. Mine is like I guess a little bit more intricate. So
yeah,
Free People Black Joggers tracksuit, but it's not a tracksuit.
Right? And how can you change that? You really can't.
You can't.
Well, and I mean, all of these costumes are called fancy dress. I can tell you the number of times I used the word fancy in those listings was 0. So it came up with that adjective by itself. But
yeah,
anyway.
What's a gillet? Gilet. Is that another word of vest?
It might be, yeah.
Well, I just saw it in 2 multiple listings because I was looking for vest. It's, let's Google that.
This is real
time.
Guys,
this is live right now.
Real time research. Okay.
Oh, a gillet is or body warmer is in the U.S. is commonly called as vest.
Oh, so who calls it that? Not in the U.S. Like, where outside of the U.S. is it called that? UK?
I guess.
Like a jumper is a sweater?
Yeah, it doesn't say. Well, I'm just gillet. It's called as an outer layer. It's British.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah. And Depop uses that. That's odd.
That is.
My thing doesn't say vest.
Okay, Depop, we have notes.
Talk to us.
Come talk to us.
Let's see.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, actually, if you don't mind segueing into the actual topic, I think this is actually kind of a great example, a random in vivo example of what we're talking about today, which is when community comes in clutch. And like, we're just, kind of shooting the crap and talking shop here and there a little bit right now, but this is exactly what happens, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
100%.
Oh, hey, did you notice this weird thing? Oh, let me go look at it. Oh my gosh, why does it do that? Wow, let's compare notes. Like,
yeah, I'm not even supposed to have notes or to actually dive into it, but literally what happened with my cross-listing experience was me figuring out, like, running out of inventory on one platform because it sold twice on a different platform.
Right.
And
how was your count off and why?
My count was so off because of multi-quantity listing, which I didn't know. I mean, I wish there was like an instructional video that says like, hold on, before you cross-list 2 items to a different platform, when this sells, you have to manually do it. Well, no, the ads read automatic delisting.
Yes.
Well,
if it's
automatic
a single
delist
quantity
means
item only.
1 item only listing, single quantity, unique, and that's why I was like, they made this app for single quantity sellers. I'm like, I need to feel included here somehow. So then I went crying to Anna. I was like, hey Anna,
where did I go wrong?
I almost got suspended on Posh again. I caught it.
Again.
I'm glad that it went the other way. It sold multiple on Posh, and I've had offers on eBay. Yeah. And JC was like, "Wait, like,
didn't we ship these?"
Why? Yeah, she knew that we only had 2 of them.
Yeah.
And she knew that it was a hot seller in Posh that sold 2 already. And why is it still on eBay? Check eBay, there's still 2 quantity. So that was the issue, guys. And this is when community came in clutch. I called Anna and I said, yo, a little help here. And she said, don't you know you have to click this blue arrow.
Arrow
said,
drop
it's click.
down in the soul.
I said, yeah, it's click, but you gotta click it again so it drops down,
Yep.
and it gives you a warning, delist multiple souls or whatever. I'm like,
yeah.
So that's how community.
Yeah, which
came in clutch
really,
for me.
that was just my regurgitation of
Exactly.
something Liz O'Kane taught me when I was first starting to use Vendu, because that's like the best way to really learn.
Correct.
Like, I appreciate it when any kind of tools and platforms have like tutorials and help guides and FAQs, but like there's nothing
it's not
like
the same though. It's not.
Yeah.
There's nothing like a human being understanding the situation
Yes.
you're in that
Because
was
they've
similar
been
to
in
the
it.
situation where you were in that
Exactly.
another person came through.
And
So,
they're willing to hold your hand.
yeah, so
through
thank you,
it.
Anna, and
You're
ultimately
welcome.
thank you, Liz,
Ultimately,
for
thank you,
telling.
Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that is really like something, obviously, that is now part of the fabric of running our businesses, right? Where we are relying on each other in community, and not just me and you, but other people in the reselling community at large too, for whether it's, troubleshooting, problem solving, sourcing insights, like whatever, advice or encouragement. There's like so many things that we get from the community, and we hopefully also give back into the community. But this time of year, Ken, we've talked about this a little bit, but normally in the last several years, this time of year, we're usually flying to San Jose, or in the case of last year, to Las Vegas for eBay
Right.
Open. And we're like preparing and like filming stuff, and we're having like the big fun, like all of our reseller besties
Right.
returning to summer camp together feelings. And like, we're not doing any of that this year.
So for the first time
Yeah.
of my eBay selling career, besides the first year that I started, this will be the first year that I didn't do any eBay Open. Well, I would say any eBay driven community meetups this year.
Yeah.
So
And for me, like, as you know, and as I've said a lot of times, I lived under a rock by myself for the first many years of running my business. And then after I was fortunate enough to win one of the Up and Running grants, I was like finally made aware of that there was like an actual eBay community of sellers, and that eBay had a whole like department that was all about seller community. I didn't even know that stuff existed until then. So, I mean, since then, that was like the best surprise ever. And it's like the gift that's kept on giving. And I've made such lifelong friends in this community that I wouldn't have met otherwise, which is so cool. But I have started going to a seller circle, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But man, there have been so many times that the connections of the seller community, especially the eBay community, have just come in completely clutch for me. Like, probably saved me so much heartache, helped me make so much money, that I otherwise would have had a totally opposite outcome.
Right.
So that's kind of what we're talking about officially today, is like, when has community really come in clutch for us? Because since we're not out there making new memories this year, we can at least reminisce about the good times.
Oh, yeah. And I think there's a lot, I guess, I'm not as, you guys know me, I don't write things down as far as laying out what I want to talk about. But
Right.
As you were talking about that part of community, there's eBay community and all the different communities that we belong to. I think one of the things that, like throwback, right? Going back to back in the day. Man, we sound old now. We're talking about back in the day. Back in
If you want to sound older, say back in my day. That sounds even older.
Yeah. Back in my day, when hashtags were still a thing, right? When hashtags is really where you found people. A part of my journey was actually started with the hashtag 2017 Flip Challenge.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. It was a hashtag that Gary V started.
Oh my gosh.
That the reselling community kind of adopted.
Yeah.
And that's how I stumbled into, whoa, there's a community where they brag about their finds. That's literally
right.
how
instead
I found,
of like gatekeeping.
yeah, because my community then was Facebook groups because I was selling sneakers. So I was a part of Cincinnati sneaker group. And that's kind of like how I started like buying and selling sneakers, because obviously I was the enthusiast buyer that I was buying stuff.
Phil, you were.
for
Oh
me.
no,
Yeah,
Phil is Phil's
yeah,
a value seeker. Just
the
kidding.
value seeker. I was finding value.
Sorry,
in stuff,
if you don't
so,
get that reference, like message us.
yeah, and then I was like, oh, this is cool, because you were DMing people on Facebook trying to buy them, meet up, and everything like that. But my form of community was a little bit more local, right? That was kind of a very city driven. That's kind of like how I found, different people in my city that was selling sneakers. And then the hashtag community, I discovered in the hashtag community, and that's how I went into the rabbit hole of, wait, who's who here, and who's actually documenting their journey.
Yeah.
And then, because I had my, everybody has their own personal Instagram you open when Instagram became a thing. And I started kind of like, following hashtags, and I was like, wait, there's a bunch of strangers online. I need to create another account so I could spy on people. So then the Instagram name, the Hustle We, came because it was inspired with the 2017 Flip Challenge, the Hustle, right? Hustle is one of the most controllable thing that you can control. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, I went to marketing school, and so everybody has a logo, everybody has a mascot.
Yeah.
And that's when I picked the B. Everybody thinks because it's Jollibee, it's Filipinos McDonald's.
Right.
No,
right.
It's the B because I can't shut up. I just keep buzzing. So that's what my teachers called me.
Because
You're like a
I can't
B.
shut up.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I
it was
didn't know that
it was a
came
negative
from, like-
connotation that they put on me when I was a kid, because
And you reclaimed it.
I kept buzzing, and I was a seat hopper.
That's funny.
I would hop seat, like if there was somebody sitting next to you and then they stood up, I would just jump right in there, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And then somebody stands up, and I would steal seats. That's basically what I did.
Oh my gosh.
And then the Hustle Bee came. So going back to the point of community, like there's so many communities out there. It's just just finding that commonality. I think that's one of the things that when you say community, I think it boils down to like your commonality, like what's in common with you guys.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how my Instagram started. And then I was like, wait, Hustler Hacks, he's sharing his Ross finds, and I'm like, I don't want to do a YouTube, I'm gonna just do it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I just started posting my finds on Instagram, and just like liking others, and I was like commenting on others and stuff like that. So that's kind of like how my Instagram community, or my kind of like knowledge that there's a community out there. Like I didn't even know, like I didn't fall into it as like, oh, they're eBay sellers. No, like they're just like fine. They're like
they're just
hustlers.
like flippers. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
they're like hustlers, flippers, and like. And then I start seeing people doing garage sale, people doing like auctions, storage units. So like I saw everything because everybody was like, oh, I'm flipping this. Oh, I'm flipping this. So everybody was sharing what they were flipping for that challenge. And then I was like, oh, I know Nike Outlet. Oh, I know Marshalls.
Right.
And then that's when I knew about, community will teach you about stores that you didn't know exist. Yeah. Ross, I didn't know Ross was the thing, because there was at that point, and there was no Ross in Ohio.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
And then I didn't know. I thought Burlington Coat Factory was just coats.
Yeah.
And then that's what community did for
Tragic
me.
error in their marketing.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Which didn't they rebrand it to just Burlington?
Yeah, so now they're just straight Burlington.
That would be why.
Yeah, and then so that's kind of like what community did for me in the beginning. It opened my eyes to there's people out there that we can share commonality with.
Yeah.
And then opened me to opportunities that, hey, this might be in your city, but if not, there might be something similar like this.
Right.
So that's kind of like that's my throwback.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, that's pretty much essential to like informing the actual start of your business, right? Like you couldn't really imagine or like conceptualize that you could have a business, like a whole business, without kind of encountering that, right? In the world of I don't know, innovation, science, and like inventions and stuff, they call that the adjacent possible. And it's like you can only imagine whatever is adjacent to what's already possible. Like, it's really rare when people are developing a new idea or inventing something for them to jump to something that's like 3 steps away from what's adjacent to what's already possible, because you can't even really fathom it yet. Right.
You have, yeah.
Like, somebody's not going to go from, you know, slicing bread to like immediately creating an iPhone. Like there's stuff in between, and it's all adjacent to the next step, right? So yeah, that gave you a new world of like adjacent possible, which is really cool. Also though, it sounds like it helped start to inform you about like where you belong, right? Like you're saying, I almost was thinking about different like groups in high schools, like the nerds and the jocks and the goths and whatever. Like it's the yard sailors and the sneakerheads and the like all the different flavors, right? So you start to figure out, what is my identity and what am I going to spend my time and grow my expertise in? So that's pretty cool. I mean, I feel like every reseller I've met, while I think it's not as intense as maybe it is for some other professions or careers, I do think that reselling does become a big part of your identity. For me, like, I think it leaves a lot more room for other parts of my identity than my career did. So that's one thing I like about it. But I think it's so true that we like start to identify really hardcore with like the people that source in the same places or like to sell the same kind of stuff or whatever.
Oh no, that's so true. I mean, there's like what do you call that? Man, I'm lost for words. There's like stereotypes.
Oh right.
Even in the reselling community, which is really funny. Like me and Glenn used to make fun of before New Balance got big.
Yeah,
Before New Balance, cool. Now it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Me and Glenn would be like, "Oh man, he's rocking New Balance. That's an Amazon seller."
Yeah. Right.
Because they didn't know style. They didn't know style. But now, hindsight, right? They knew the style. They were ahead of their time.
They were, yeah.
That's what it was.
Maybe they did, after all.
Yeah, it was like, rocking dad shoes.
Yeah.
And, we were making fun of them. And,
that's funny.
Yeah, so, no, I truly, like you said, it becomes part of your identity. I think that's one of the things. But what I liked about the identity, right? Because like we cannot you cannot just easily shake it off. Like, I'm not a reseller. That's not my community. Like if you've contributed somehow, right? Or if you've benefited, right? Like kind of like before I contributed, I was just benefiting. I was just a lurker. If you're a lurker. Same. You're part of it. Right? Yeah. Like kind of like when you were just part of it. When you were just listening to the
Scavenger Life. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. I would super occasionally chime in on the forum, but usually not. I usually just listen and I was mostly listening, not like getting onto the forum a whole lot.
Right. And I think there's something innate that happens when you belong in a community that all of a sudden, whether you feel the urge of it or whether either it's some form of personal gratification or self-fulfillment that you want to give back somehow. Right? Whether you want to do it online or in real life. Like I've made one of our best friends eBay sellers because I was just like so engulfed in it that I was just like, yo, like, you can't miss this party.
Right.
And also at the same time, I'm already in this party.
Yeah.
Let's party together. Yeah. That's kind of like what it felt like. So.
Well, honestly, I was a warm market for that, but I would file myself under that because that's on my list. Like, I didn't actually go figure out the actual dollar amount so far, but like you teaching me like hands-on in real life, teaching me about retail arb and how you think about retail arb, and even giving me a heads up about certain brands and things like that. I like got to basically shadow you and like almost intern along with you when you were shopping one season. And that taught me so much. I have easily made over $50,000 in sales from the stuff that I've sourced because of what I learned from you that I definitely wouldn't have sourced otherwise.
Right.
And like that gift's going to keep on giving for the rest of my career.
Right.
So thanks. Appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
You're welcome. And also,
but that's exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
Like,
and
you're like, don't miss out on this.
When people when I hear stories like that, right? Like obviously I've been a beneficiary of that, and vice versa. What I think we get out of it too when we're sharing to other people is also kind of like that. It's I guess you could probably find a better word for it, but for me it's like a feedback loop.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, Anna gets to see how I think and how I process and how I move.
Right.
And I get to see, it's like, wait, like, is what I'm doing so weird or too weird? Right? Because all I know, we all live in this bubble.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You're like, me, what if it's just so normal?
Let me reality check this.
Right. And then if you bring somebody, they be like, and I'll be like, yo, like, that's a little too weird, you know? Or, so that's one. I think that's really great, reaffirming feedback loop.
Well,
like, okay.
Feedback is great, but also, like, I've noticed this as I've been working on my standard operating procedures, and I've known this forever, like as a teacher and a professor too. If you don't really understand the concept till you can explain it to someone else, and sometimes having to get outside of your own head to explain your process or your thought process exposes gaps or inconsistencies, right? And it's like you don't even. Like, as you're saying it out loud to someone else, sometimes you're like, oh wait a minute. I could have skipped that whole step. Like, why do I do it that way? You know?
That's true. I mean, even with, like, picking the brands, right? Like, everybody knows I love Nike so much. But when Anna knows that I don't pick up Adidas, so I don't even try to touch it. Yeah. But also, the thing that kind of, like, helped me from doing that is, like, wait, why do I hate Adidas again? Why do like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what did they do to me?
Should I still hate them?
Should I still,
Like, but Ken, this track jacket's $5.
To be honest, exactly. That's what the whole conversation is. And I'm just like, wait, $5 to $25 to $30. That's the same margins that I would require from other brands.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, buy them all.
Yeah. Okay. You know what?
I guess so.
You like pie, right? Even if it's humble pie.
Yes, 100%.
Pie.
So I think that's the other point. Part of like, what you get from giving, is that kind of like perspective with they. I truly believe that everybody can learn from each other, and what I try to get out as I am giving is how are they reacting or why either they're receiving it or they're questioning it. Why?
Right.
There's always a why, right? For example, like part of like, like what was so stuck in me, like I want to spend $30 and sell it for $90. If it's not $30 and if it can't sell, I've been so stuck with it. And you have kind of like opened up my mind. It's like, wait, there are $2 items that sell for $15. Like, forgive the math, but it's the same ROI.
Yeah.
But you get way more quantity.
Right.
Which is, in turn, easier to list still. Mm-hmm. But you just have to know, again, so as soon as you ping me that, my head was like, wait, that's right. So, if I'm planning to sell 2 items on this product, I just need to sell 20. Right? Let's just say let's 10x, put another 0 on it. Right? I said, okay, if I can't find 5 pairs of shoes, let me find 50 pairs of socks. It's the same amount, right?
Yeah.
And once you start working in volume and wholesale, you start realizing it's like, golly, like I can only fit this really happened. I can only fit 150 items in my van and it's packed. But I bought 2,000 pairs of socks. It was only 3 trash bags.
Yep.
And I'm like, So you're telling me
Hold on.
I can have a van full
Let me get this straight.
that's worth way more,
yeah.
right? So that's kind of like what I got out of kind of like our I guess our internship time.
Yeah. We were actually interning each other
right,
somehow.
that's exactly
well,
right.
okay, and not to toot my own horn, but this is a whole other side of that scenario that that had to have been helpful, which was it was you and JC, which is the standard team,
right,
plus a whole other warm body who could like
right,
count things and process things and grab things off of racks.
Yeah.
And
100%.
like having the extra hands
that
to
also
do
has
sometimes.
a knowledge already, right?
Yes,
Like because it's
right.
not because like we all can get extra hands.
Yes.
But like somebody that
hands
is a
that have
reseller.
a brain attached that knows how to think like you think. That is so valuable. And
Yeah,
I've been in that position too at the
Right.
bins or
Right,
in
right,
other
like-
situations.
Because it's like basically what you did to me was like, okay, Ken, what are the parameters that you're looking at?
Yep.
And I'll get back with you with what I can find.
Yeah.
And that's happened so many times, and there's so many times where you went to a different store and I was still in another store,
Yep.
but you were already pulling for me that was the same parameters that I was getting.
Yep.
And that one is so much faster because like there were times that I went there, but you already scoured everything all. It was already ready to check out.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
like,
so
so-
fun too. Like honestly, like there were times I'm just thinking about that first like
Right.
year or like that first season where I would go and kind of we would team up like that, which I'm always down for that, but
Right.
the sales cycles have been different this year, so it hasn't really been exactly the same. But like those opportunities are so fun. There would be even times where like I'm like, okay, well, I have like not very much money to spend, but I'm gonna pick a few things for myself along the way, and then
Right.
like it's my joy to get to pull all that stuff and keep learning and just keep on whatever, maintaining the relationship with that
Right.
store. Like there's so many benefits to doing that, and I just think that there were probably even more things than we can think of off the top of our heads about that team up that
Right.
have benefited us both so much.
No.
And I never would have like been doing that if I stayed under my rock. I never would
Right.
have even known you or like
Right,
been
right.
venturing out to like source in that way.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest lesson was like, don't be afraid to, like teach somebody or even ask somebody for help.
Yeah.
And like we already drive far, but like one of my goals was like to find somebody in that city, to find somebody in that area, because I guess that's how it started. It's like I was like, hey Anna, how far are you from this store? And
Right,
you were
because it was
like,
brand new.
right, and also at the same time, it's not your zip code.
No.
It's not. It's a different state,
like in the
but
next
it's
county.
right, or it's
Yeah.
something like that. And don't ask. Don't hesitate to ask somebody. And it's not like, yes, there is definitely some, some way to vet people, but if you've already had some community. Obviously, by this time, me and Anna were not new friends, right? So,
Yeah.
So I always think
we
about
knew
like,
each other for years. By
I
then.
was like, who can I work with that I already am comfortable with, or I trust them already and stuff like that. I think we all should, because sometimes it's like, sometimes the biggest thing about like, I call it community vultures, is like they just find a community and then they just
see what they can pick off of it and
exactly
then move on
they
to the next
infiltrate
one.
it. Yeah, they're just vultures. Literally,
Yeah.
they just hop in, and be like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
you're gonna
where do
have
you
that
source?
sometimes.
Can I source with you?" And like, bro, like I don't know you. Like I don't know. Like, it's not even about getting to know my source. What if you rob me?
Right.
like the I feel like that's the other spectrum of it, but also there's so many benefits of building a community, building relationships with the people within the community, or even
Yeah.
just knowing what they do. Because I've had a lot of people that have reached out. It's like, hey, I see that you've been buying this and buying that. Would you be willing to sell all of your this to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, that's kind of a weird question, but also at the same time, I had to ask myself, like, wait, can I get rid of all this to this guy that I already know that
Yeah.
that I know that they do good business, And I'm thinking like, wait, they could be a return customer too. So then moving forward, I can buy more of these and I can pass it to them.
Right.
And a win-win situation.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's even stuff like, okay, for example, I sell everything, so like,
right.
There's very few times where I'm gonna find an item of value and not just want to like sell it in my own store.
Right.
But there definitely are times where I'm like,
right.
oh my gosh, as soon as I saw this, I thought of my other friend who's a seller, and I want to know if they're interested in it. Or even just, I told the story a little bit on the podcast already, but I was at the Bins with my friend Kristen, who runs the Central Illinois Resellers Meetup. And she was like, as soon as I walk in the door, she's like, hey, there's all this stuff that I think has your name all over it. Let me show it to you right away. And then, of course, she helped me, like, pile it into carts. She helped me chuck it into my car in the pouring rain. Like, she was just, like, on top of it because as soon as she saw it, she was like, she knew I'd want that stuff. And she was right. And, you know, that saved me. Like, that actually made the difference in time of me being able to get it all or not because the store was going to be closing. So yeah, there's just things like that too, where if you actually build community and you're not just a vulture, then that requires actually caring and getting to know other people and actually letting them know you. And I don't know which one of those is harder for whoever's listening to this, but they can
depends which side you are
on.
It
does. Sometimes it is really, well, think about it, Ken. Like so many people who do this for full time, like what are the things we love about it? We're in full control. We don't have to work with people we don't like. we can do our own thing. We're usually hyper independent, right?
Yeah.
And so allowing other people to know you can sometimes be like a hard stop for people.
100%.
But you can't have, like, that is going to dictate the level of community and the depth of your connections with people more than anything else. Like, are you actually willing to be a friend and like let someone be your friend? Like, you have to let them, right?
No, that's so true. And yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that I think was surprising in this business for me. Although, you know, like, you do your business, I've always said that, you know, Instagram was never my part of my income strategy.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say that it hasn't brought me money in partnerships and in branding and everything like that. But having that, like, think about it selfishly, right? To have a presence in a community where you are an upstanding member of this community, is your brand, right? That is a mark of, like, wait, Ken is not rude in real life. Ken knows how to talk nicely. Ken has good intentions. You know, he's not just...
people can't get to know your character from like social media.
Right.
Not really,
because there's a lot of you could just act. There's good actors, right? And I think social media is a great place for them.
There's also bad ones.
Yeah. Right. And I think, you know, the other piece of it, right? Like, I feel like there's the online side of kind of like figuring out your community and stuff like that, but also there's the in-person side. And I think we touched about it earlier, that one of the biggest things that I get excited the most is, you know, some meetups and some events.
Yeah.
And for the last how many years, eBay really has kind of like stepped up and spearheaded that. You know, eBay Open was, you know, coined. I mean, before even us.
Yeah.
It's been going for so many times already. And,
oh yeah, for sure.
And the eBay Open magic was a thing, right? And COVID kind of like, I would say, forced it to pivot, right, to online. But there's just a different kind of like magic to be in person, and I think that's one of the things that last year, obviously, it was the 30th for eBay. That was really, if there was a word, there was something fitting for a word, magical, that eBay uses. It's not really for listing. It's for magical moments for eBay Open.
Yeah.
So there's that. And I guess, you know, like, you know, we love eBay, but because we love eBay, we say and we try to give our voices and opinion. And this year, I think as far as the eBay community side, it kind of feels different and is not as sweet as it was.
Yeah.
I think obviously one of the biggest things is like the layoff happened.
Yeah.
And, you know, like,
yep, they had big layoffs earlier this year, and there's a ton of focus on eBay Live,
right,
which is not traditionally part of the eBay
correct.
seller community.
And the big part is like eBay community director, you know, was laid off, part of the layoff. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of the things that I think is different this year.
Yeah, it definitely has felt different, and there's just been a lot of focus on seller circles, which is like, I think, helpful for like, I don't know, for like staying connected, because even with eBay Open, like for us personally, because we've been involved in the content for eBay Open for years, we are thinking about eBay Open all year. You know, we're spending many months working on stuff related to eBay Open, and that keeps us connected too. But in general, like, seller circles happen throughout the year all the time. And so I think that's like a good through line for people. But, you know, if there's not one in your area and you don't want to start one and you don't want to do one online, because I think there's a few that are all online. Right. That's a problem, right? Like,
right.
Then you don't have one.
Yeah, obviously, like, you know, there's that gap that. Yeah. Obviously, I think if you want to stay local, right, there's definitely that seller circle, but the challenge with that is obviously the pool of sellers in your area. That's one. Yeah, right.
It's like the double-edged sword that it's local, right? It's like, these people are they really get it, what it's like to be a reseller here, right? But also, like, they may not actually have that much in common with you. Yeah, you know, compared to someone else who lives farther away or whatever.
Or for me, if to be honest though, like, I think part of the mentality that kind of like gets in the way for having local meetup is like that competition mentality.
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially in certain categories.
I struggle with it. Like, I'm not gonna front that I say like, oh, like, I'd love to meet my local like you know, like, I don't, but also at the same time they probably don't want to meet me either. Right. Because
you're like, oh, you said meet? I thought you said beat. Sorry.
Oh, that too, right? Like, they can try. I'm just joking. See, it comes out. We're not even in a meetup yet, but I'm already like trying to attack my competition. You know?
Yeah. Right.
So that's kind of like the challenge, and it's just I don't know. Like, you probably can explain it, but for me, it feels different going to a neutral zone. Yep. Area, meeting people that are not local to that area. For sure. I feel like people are more open. Would you agree?
Well, yeah, and I mean, there is something magical about the times over the last 4 or 5 years that we've been at an eBay event with eBay. Like, we're all there. The main thing we have in common is the platform. It's not competition for sourcing or whatever else, right? Like, that's kind of just removed in those scenarios. And it's interesting because, it's like, I guess there's more opportunities for that kind of like competitive friction or like, you know, like you're saying, like, I don't want to just randomly distribute to the whole world my top 5 list of places that I like to source, because I don't know you and trust you, and like, why would I needlessly, you know, like,
create my own competition or sell me out of my sources, right? Or
when it's like those, you know, the recipients of that maybe have done nothing to like earn it. That sounds weird, but like, it's just your discretion, like, and some of that can be too far into like gatekeeping probably, but a lot of it isn't. It's just like, no, I also have to be mindful of like that this is my livelihood, and I'm not just gonna like blast every single detail from the rooftops, and that's a reasonable thing to do. But I think the you know, situation where somebody just like expects you to freely share everything comes up maybe more often when you're at those in-person meetups.
100%. I agree.
Especially because you're like low-key eBay famous and people know who you are. So then they're like, I followed you for years. Like, I kind of know everything about you and you've never met me, but I'm gonna expect you to treat me like I'm your best friend. Like, That has happened.
Getting the DMs, right? Getting the DMs like, hey, can you share your source? What's your number? Like, you know, like,
you're like, I mean, why?
When do you hit the stores the most? I'm like, why? Do you want to meet up there, or are you trying to beat me, or are you trying to like, you know, like,
right?
So I guess for me, right, like, being in that kind of like, I guess the negative side of it, right? Like, there's
for sure.
good and bad of a certain like in community as well. But I think one of the things that I want to kind of like, I guess, divert people to, because obviously there's different niche, there's different category and stuff like that, and you know, like, I think this is a very good conversation to have with Anna, because we sell on a very totally different categories, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even probably closer now, but really further. But
still, there's still a big difference. I mean, right. I would say I think it's accurate to say I now dabble in some of your categories.
Yeah.
Among my other ones, you know.
Right.
Like,
so like what I'm trying to tell people is like, it's not about the product. It's really about the process.
Yeah.
And I think more than anything, and I've had this I've had people tell me about it, that I actually talk more about the process rather than the product.
Yeah.
Even internally in eBay, the people that know me, they totally just see the process, because obviously, you know, we get feedback to them. When we talk to eBay, we're not talking about like, hey, how can I sell this shoes for more money?
Right,
like,
right.
It's not about that. It's like,
no,
it's more efficiently, how are we using their tool?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's so what I'm trying to tell, like, when you're in this space of community, we're trying to build a community, we're trying to become a part of a community, I think the focus needs to be more on the process. What are the processes that we can learn from each other, that we can build upon each other? Because, like we said, me and Anna don't sell mostly in a different category, but to a point, there will be a moment that our process will look identical, because we're just bouncing off ideas to each other. Like, my process for clothing literally came from Anna.
Yeah. Except it is different.
Yeah,
you store it differently.
Right.
Like, you pre-pack and I don't.
Right. But it's the same process, right? Like, and that's like, that's what I want to focus on. Like, in communities, like, you may not like the same product, you might not like the same category, but in the marketplaces that we sell, a lot of these processes are super similar. What's your take on that?
Yeah, they totally are. And I feel like, going back full circle to talking about Adidas, like, I think one of the most valuable things that can come out of comparing notes like that is to be able to, like, look at the two side by side, your process and someone else's, and go, so why do I do it like this? Why wouldn't I do it like that? You know, and kind of vice versa, because sometimes, like, there are actual reasons. There's physical space limitations, or it's just like your own personal brain, like, doesn't like to do things in that order.
Preference,
yeah, like, of course you're allowed to have preferences, but you become, like, so much more confident and clear and consistent in your processes when they've been tested against something. Right.
That's true.
So that is super valuable. And I think, you know, we've said this since the beginning of the podcast, but it's so valuable to talk to other people who maybe don't sell in your same category or don't do things the way you do, because there's a lot of those really valuable questions at the intersection of how you do things and how I do things. And, you know, there's really no risk to our businesses in particular in comparing those notes. It's not the same thing as, hey, let me let you in on all of my
where
best
I source,
kept secrets. Right, yeah.
Yeah, like,
it doesn't have to be about that.
Yeah. I think that's the next level of kind of like way of thinking as far as the business, right? Because, like, in different industries, right, they have like networking, they have conferences and stuff like that. Doctors conference, dentist lawyers conference. Like, you think they're there trying to swoop each other's clients?
Right.
No, they're trying
colleagues. They're colleagues.
Right. You gotta get to that level of, okay, we're all coworkers and colleagues, or, you know, even partners. Yeah. In certain projects, for example, like cross-listing, right?
Yeah.
Like, cross-listing has nothing to do with the product, right? shipping and storage has
very little.
Besides the dimension and weight,
there's going to be variations, right? Yeah, but like, of course there is,
Right. And so that's why I feel like you're right about like learning from other categories. I think it's crazy. Like I'm in the fashion category, but I watch and listen and get entertainment from motors category, like the car industry, the automotive industry. That's where I get inspired by those. I don't know what it's called, but I get inspired by other people doing different things in their craft. That I could probably take in and see if there's any equivalent to my industry that I can apply.
Right. Sometimes might be something that is unorthodox for your lane,
right?
But it works really well in somebody else's lane, and no one's brought it over to your lane before. It's innovation.
That's exactly right. Like it might be very common in that industry,
right?
But the moment you bring it, you're a genius. So,
right.
So
I think too. I'm thinking about the theme here of like when community comes in clutch, and I think for people who have not plugged into the community anywhere,
right,
then you've never had the chance to experience that. And even if things are going really well, you're fine on your own, whatever, you never know when you might need a community to support you or help you or encourage you, like whatever it may be. And if you're listening to this podcast, you already have at least a little bit of an inkling that you want to belong.
Right.
And so I would just say that to anybody who's listening that's really hasn't meaningfully connected to any other resellers, like build your community before you need it.
Right. I like that. Don't wait till it's too late, right?
So and then become a vulture.
That's when you become a vulture, because at that point you're just desperate.
You're desperate and you need something.
So I think like this is my, I guess, last piece of advice, or just kind of like just different steps that you can take to become part of it. At the very minimum, try to find a common platform of communication. I encourage you, if you're listening, to create an Instagram account. That's kind of like my advice. Like if you just said, hey, what's your advice on becoming a part of, create an Instagram account, follow us, and follow other people within the community where you want to become a part of it. There's no gate to this. Right. There's no entrance. But the easiest way is follow, not just hitting that button, but also interact.
Definitely.
A lot of the people that I became really good friends with are just people that I have interacted with. Whether it's a like, a comment, a clap, a reaction of their story, do that, because it speaks so much volume. It's like walking into a conference room and just telling somebody, hey, nice outfit.
Right.
That's all you need. It doesn't cost you anything. But it shows that you want to interact.
Yeah.
There has to be that step. Obviously, if you do that to us, we're going to give it back to you, because we know that's a sign already that you want to engage.
Well, and I think too, like a lot of people might assume as a lurker or whatever, like a follower, that the person creating the content just sees them as an audience. And that is really, I find that's
not with us. That's not with us. For some others, yes, but that's not with Seller Club.
When we're doing this podcast, or anytime I post something on Instagram, I'm thinking of you as like my colleagues, my fellow resellers, like it's a two-way street.
If there was a time that you're allowed to give your 2 cents, it's then.
A post is an invitation to give your 2 cents, right? Or I wouldn't be sharing it with you in the first place.
Yeah.
But I just think that's important, because it's so easy on social media to just stay quiet and to just assume that like, oh, they wouldn't care about what I have to say or whatever, and or like, oh, they only want my engagement, and it's like no. That's a lot of times, I can't speak for every content creator, obviously, but a lot of us actually just want to connect with you because we also need the connection. Right. We're not just trying to talk at you.
Yeah,
right?
No.
It's a conversation. That's the whole point. So, yeah, I think that's important. Also, I will say shameless plug because our Central Illinois Seller Circle is having a really cool event about a week from when this comes out. This episode comes out. So it's August.
What's the date?
August 30th. And it's in Mount Olive, Illinois. So go look at that on a map if you're anywhere.
We'll put the links down below as well.
Yes, we're going to have in our show notes a link to this event to register for it. But it's so cool. This whole thing came about because of community. And basically, there's $1 million a year auto parts eBay seller who has opened up their facility to host like a gathering. And we're going to get to have some insight and a little tour of like their operation. And I can tell you this because I have previewed their operation and I went and toured it already to like see what it was going to be like and figure out, you know, how much space we have for people and stuff like that. And it was so cool. It is such an interesting place. The people are super, super nice. And I don't want to give away too many details about it because I want you to just come and see. But it's a free event and it's going to include just some potentially like earth-shattering revelations for your business because of just seeing how this business operates. Like it was so incredible. When I previewed it, and that was just the preview. So I would really encourage you. We're going to have some very special guests and people in attendance also that you're totally going to want to rub elbows with and meet. And man, Central Illinois is full of some really fantastic human beings, and a lot of them are going to be at this event. So including me, I will be there. Not saying I'm fantastic, but I will be there. And my friend Kristen that I keep talking about, she runs that group. So she and I will definitely both be there, and we will welcome you with open arms. So if you want to come, register for it so that we know you're coming. It's just like the little RSVP system through eBay Seller Circles. And hopefully I'll see you there because it's going to be a really, really good one. Like a little bit of a Seller Circle meetup on steroids.
Right. Well, I think that's a pretty good segment or episode.
I know. So now the question is, are we going to let AI do our sponsor read again?
Oh, no. That sounded too real and too
it creeped
weird.
us out.
It creeped us out how AI knows my it's the funny thing is I stutter on the ending a lot, and it's just
it just was like I can do that.
Yeah,
it did your inflection pretty well.
Yeah. So no, you know, again, be encouraged. There's a community out there that wishes and wants the best out of you in your business. So get connected with Seller Club Podcast on Instagram and follow our accounts at The Hustle Bee and Anna Finds Everything on Instagram. Let's connect. Let's interact with each other's posts. And if you guys have any questions, we've said this over and over again, but just a reminder, shoot us a DM. A DM will get responded. You know, just come correct, be respectful and stuff like that. We're just, you know, just a real humans, right? Let's just communicate and we're always gonna be here for you guys. And we just want to thank our sponsor of this podcast, Seller Ledger, another, you know, great sponsor that we met through the community.
That's right.
That believes in what we do, and we believe in what they do to help our resellers and small businesses like us to get our books straight. So make sure you follow them, Seller Ledger, on Instagram and on their website, sellerledger.com. And we will see you in the next episode. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Started as a lurker, watching from the side, seeing what they flip, learning how they buy. One little hashtag opened up the door, found a whole community I ain't seen before. Different cities, different lanes, different products, same old game. You show me yours, I show you mine. Not your sauce and spot, I'm talking how you grind.
Pass it down, pass it on. Something you learn keeps traveling on. Someone helped you find your way. Be that person for somebody someday. Build your community before you need it.
Show up for your people and
really mean it. You don't gotta know it all alone.
can get you home, baby.
Build your community before you need it. Give a little back when you receive it.
Different hustle, but we understand.
Everybody wins
when somebody lends a hand. Yeah, Liz show Anna show Ken. Now somebody else gonna learn it again. One blue arrow saved the day. That's how knowledge gets passed our way. $5 Adidas, maybe I was wrong. Humble pie still tastes good all along. Shoes or socks, big or small, different inventory, we can learn from it all. It ain't the product, it's the process we share. How you list, how you ship, how you get it there. Take an idea from another lane, bring it to yours and you might change the game.
Build your community before you need it. Show up for your people and really mean it. You don't gotta know it all alone.
Sometimes one call can get you home, baby.
Build your community before you need it. Give a little back when you receive it.
Different hustle, but we understand.
Everybody wins
when somebody lends a hand. But don't come around only needing something. First DM asking where you saw us in. Nah, that's not community. Yep, that's opportunity. Build some trust, get some back. Learn a person, not just a hack. Because the strongest